In today's Torah portion, which is on Wednesday, Revi'i, the last two verses, the Torah deals with how one must behave towards an enemy, and in particular related to the person's animals, to the person's belongings. So the first pasuk is, if you will notice, you'll come across that your enemy's ox or donkey are lost, are going astray. So what one must do is, Hashev tishuvenu loy. You must return it. And you know that this belongs to your enemy. You have to get that ox, get a donkey, bring it back to its master. And for that matter, Hashev tishuvenu loy, it's repeated twice, even if this happens a number of times. You can't go say, look, start, take care of your things. Take care of your enemy. Take care of your donkey. Take care of your, which would be a normal reaction, especially if it's an enemy. Says the Torah, no. You must return it. And then there's another mitzvah. When you see a donkey belonging to your enemy, somebody that you dislike or even that you hate, makes no difference the reason for the hatred. Even if in our own mind it is justified. And usually it's justified, and in our minds at least, says the Torah. So what happens now? And you see how this donkey is roivetz tachas masoi. It is crouching under its load. It's too heavy. The animal can't move. And the person is struggling with putting it together, putting it up. So what would one want to do? You might think, I will refrain from helping him. He's my enemy. Why should I help him? I can find excuses. It's not appropriate. It's too difficult. I'm afraid. It's cold. Just imagine driving on a highway in the middle of the night, minus 20, and you see a car stopped, and you recognize, oh, this is actually somebody who you don't appreciate. And the person has a flat tire. And he's struggling with it. Are you just going to move on with a smile on your face, God forbid? Or are you going to get out of your car and help him? Says the Torah, Azov tazov imoy. You must help him, with him. Get out of your car and go help him. Get out of your comfort zone and help this donkey get back on its feet. In other words, helping the individual regain his footing. I once heard a very beautiful explanation here, an observation, I should say, that although the Torah speaks about your enemy and a donkey, it doesn't have to be your enemy. You should help anyone, not only if it's not his enemy. If you don't know him, or for that matter, even with a friend in need, and sometimes we comfortably will ignore. Says the Torah, we're not allowed to ignore somebody else's plight, somebody else's need. But here comes a much deeper thought, which the Rebbe brings in today's Hayom Yom, the daily thought, on a teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. And he says the following. Kisire chamoyo. When you see chamor, which means a donkey, but chamor also comes from the word chomer, materiality. In our case, it means over here, your body. You will see, says the Baal Shem Tov, that you will recognize that he is senacha, is your enemy. That really our chomer, our body, hates your divine soul, which longs for godliness and spirituality. And then you will see further that roivetz tachas masoye, this donkey, this body is lying under its burden, the burden which has been placed upon it by Hashem. What is the burden? That God is demanding from us to fulfill Torah and mitzvahs. And this body is lazy to fulfill them. Feels it a heavy yoke and is crouching under it. So then we might think, I will refrain from helping it. I will not help it enable to fulfill its mission. And instead, what we will do? Punish it. I will follow a path of mortification. In terms of fasting and break down that body. Says the Baal Shem Tov, that's not the right approach. The Torah's approach is Azov Tazov Imoy. You must aid it, meaning purify the body, refine the body, but don't break it by mortification. And indeed, there was a school of thought that they felt that it is important to break the body, to subordinate the body, to afflicting it with different kind of practices and pains. The Baal Shem Tov saw the body not as an obstacle to the spirit, something which is intrinsically evil and ungodly, but as a potential vehicle for the spiritual, a means for the soul to attain greater heights which otherwise would be inaccessible. The enemy is to be transformed into an ally, an instrument, which means using that materiality for Torah mitzvahs, as in fact using leather to make tefillin, using wool to make tzitzis, using paraffin to make Shabbos candles. That's the Chomer. And this is the famous donkey upon which Mashiach is riding on. What we have transformed the materiality to become a godly, imbued reality. May we see this donkey, obviously with Mashiach, right now.